Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me for another office hours training. I'm Crystal L. Gunn, your financial strategist and small business advisor. And the biggest part of my job is helping you build solid, strong financial foundations, either on the personal side or on the business side, foundations on which you can grow, right? I also help you to have some aha moments, some self-discovery moments, and helping you see what no longer serves you so you can release them and soar. That's what helps with the breakthroughs. That's where you start to shift. That's where that magic happens, be it on your personal finances or your overall business. And so it's Monday, which means it's all about mastering money mindsets as we continue in cultivating a positive relationship with money and how it is crucial for developing a healthy financial mindset. So April is Stress Awareness Month, and I want to start talking about your money and your health and the correlation between the two. More specifically, how financial stress impacts your mental health, your physical health, and your social and behavioral health. So today I want to speak on each one of those topics, but I just want to take one thing from those three topics. So your mental health, your financial health, and your social and behavioral health. So let's talk about money and how, or the stress of your financial relationship impacts your mental health. Increased risk of anxiety and depression is one way. So ongoing financial stress is a key risk factor in both anxiety and depression. So the persistent worry about bills, debt, or job security can lead to feelings of hopelessness, sadness, fear, and so much more. I remember when I was going through my financial storm, and I don't know however many years ago that was at this point, 18 years ago maybe. And that depression kicked in. And the most interesting thing about that is I didn't know that I was depressed. I had no idea. It was talking to a friend of mine later, and he was telling me the story of what had happened in his life. It had been a year since we had spoken. And everything that he kept saying, I was like, oh, that sounded like my life. That sounded like my life. That sounded like my life. And he got to the end of his story, and he said he went to see someone, and they diagnosed him with being depressed. And I said, oh my God, that was what was wrong with me. And I had no idea, but that depression came specifically from the financial storm I was in, the constant worry about it, the worrying about how I'm going to pay this bill, or paying or robbing Peter to pay Paul, and when money was coming in. Plus, I had never experienced anything like that before. So that, with what I was actually going through, depression set in, right? So you have to be really, really careful when you start looking at your finances. And a lot of times, it's stress. It comes on and you don't necessarily know you're stressed because you ease into it. And then all of these other things start to happen and show up in your life, right? So how does it impact your physical health? Someone right now is believing that they can't sleep due to menopause, thinking about work, these deadlines at work, or the family. But you have to remember, sometimes it may be financial worries, which can cause insomnia or disrupted sleep patterns, which in turn can weaken the immune system, impair cognitive function, and increase the risk of the various health issues. So you have to be really conscious of what's happening, because stress will show up in your life as dis-ease and illness. And so that disease or dis-ease is showing up to let you know, hey, something is wrong and you need to address it. And oftentimes we look at everything else and we don't look at our finances as being something that's causing that disease. It's possible. So you have to take time out to figure out what is really going on and what is causing me to feel this way, what is causing me to not be able to sleep right now. Because if you can't sleep, there's something deeper brewing, and you want to be able to figure that out so that you can stop it, so that it doesn't winds up being something even more serious, right? And the third thing is social and behavioral health. So going back to my own personal financial storm, social isolation was at the top of my list. Like, when you're going through it, you don't realize what it is that you're going through. But I wasn't talking to anybody on the phone. I definitely wasn't hanging out, not only because I just didn't have the extra money to do so, but the depression. I would go to work. I would come home. I would get into bed. If it was days, this happened a few years after we got divorced. So those days that my daughter were with me, I put on the face and I did the things and we did the things and I cooked the dinner and we had great conversation. And then, she used to like to dance and sing for me, in the evenings before she went to bed. And I would do all of the things. But once I got in that bed by myself, it was yet again crying myself to sleep. More worry, right? Not being able to sleep at night, just being worried, stressed out, and that depression, all of it hitting in the same time. But I literally was not going out with friends. I was not going to, get togethers that they were having. People did not see me. And I remember years ago doing a workshop and I was talking about this very thing very similarly. And I said, I know somebody in this room is going through some things. And again, I lead with finances. So someone in this room is going through something financially right now, and no one knows. And I said, you know how I know? I said, watch this and let me prove it to you. And there was a really good friend of mine who we've been friends since the ninth grade. So for a really, really long time. And she came out and I said, Judy, and I had told the story and I said, did you know any of this? And she says, no, I had no idea. And she says, because if I had known, I would have helped you. And so understanding that isolation winds up being you're not you're not hanging out or you're not talking to your friends and family and those people that are closest to you. But a lot of times you also won't go get the help that you need, right? You won't go get the financial coaching. You won't talk to the person who can help you with your credit. You won't do that. You just sit in where you are. And it doesn't get better sitting there. I unfortunately back then didn't have anybody that there weren't financial coaches and things like that that would help with this part. Yeah, there were financial advisors and planners that if I wanted to go and invest some money, you know what I mean, they could help me with that. But to get out of the situation I was in, there was nobody really around for that. So I had to figure it out and I had to rely on God, the downloads from God and the things that I had to find in order to create a process in order to heal. But that social isolation, that was something that was really, really huge for me. And the thing about it is, it makes the depression worse. It makes the depression worse, and you're ultimately not getting the help that you need to heal. So these are just three drops in a bucket, and why, and it's why I do what I do and why I go so hard in the paint for it. It's not just about the budget or the credit score. It's so much deeper than that. We must, and it's no longer even an option. We must heal and redefine our individual financial relationships so we can thrive individually and collectively. And remember, when you redefine your personal financial relationship so that it's working in your best interest, it positively impacts every other area of your life. The same thoughts, issues, habits, and traumas that define your current financial relationship has negative impact on all of these other areas as well. We can't heal your financial relationship without healing those thoughts, issues, habits, and traumas. So no favorite thing for today, no steps other than make a decision. It's time to do something different. I keep saying things are going to get better, but they're going to continue to get worse first. Things are going to get better, but and I'm talking about economy as a whole, as you see what's going on economically around the globe. It's going to continue to get worse because it has to in order to get better. So at this point in time, it's a good time to say, you know what? Well, I'm going to work on making my own financial situation better. I'm going to work on redefining my financial relationship. So make a decision, schedule with me or with someone. Don't keep trying to figure it out by yourself. You know the drill. All the links are in the description below. So if this information has been helpful, please subscribe to my channel and be sure to turn notifications on so that you don't miss a thing. Also share this with somebody else. You never know who needs to hear any of this information. You never know who needs help. It could be 5 of your closest friends. Just because they're your closest friends doesn't mean that you know what they're going through financially. Remember the social isolation piece. They're not telling you. I wasn't telling any of my friends. No one knew. My parents didn't know. No one knew. All of the people that were around me that could have helped, I did not tell them. Why? I was embarrassed. Didn't think that anybody else would understand. Didn't want to share that information with anybody else. Didn't want to own that I was in a place that I wasn't accustomed to being in. Had never been there before, right? So share this information with somebody else. It might be the blessing that they need to get them to their next level and to help them heal their financial relationship. Again, also, if you're in need of personal or business strategy, let's talk about it. Stop trying to figure it out for yourself. The links for scheduling a consultation are in the description. Just make sure you click on the right link for scheduling that you want, because there's going to be instruction and it helps me prepare for that consultation, knowing what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to say this though, and I do this one every single time, right? Give yourself some grace. Please, please, please give yourself some grace. This is all a process, right? You can't heal, redeem, elevate like in one day. It's a process. It's a continued process. It is a journey, and it's your journey. Your journey is going to look very different than anyone else's. So always remember to give yourself some grace. You don't know what you don't know. And a lot of instances is by design that you got here, not your design, but it was by design. Your financial relationship was created outside of you by outside forces. Give yourself some grace. Plus, you don't know what you don't know. So you don't always know what questions to ask, right? That's why working with somebody and getting help is so imperative. I don't care what area of life it's in. So keep striving for your next level of greatness. Keep striving for your own personal elevation and never give up on you. Never, ever give up on you. Sometimes we feel like we want to give up, but never, ever, ever give up on you. Always invest in you. It is the best investment you will ever make. So until next time, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Be sure to join me for the private online Q&A immediately following. The link is in the description. And if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn notifications on so you never miss this opportunity.